investing in rental properties, the first thing they think about is acquisitions, right? So why don't we start there? And we're going to introduce you here to
Cassandra Connatser.
She goes by KJ, folks.
She goes by KJ because she's been on my team well before she was the last name Connatser. She was a joiner at one point. She's been on the team for 11 years now. She's a part of JWB. You can't think of JWB without her.
My team is responsible for acquisitions. We help investors by finding the investments that we are going to renovate or build new construction on for you to purchase. On the acquisition side, we're measured on networking. It's really important that we work with investors here locally. We play well in what we call the sandbox with other people that we work with. Networking is a huge part of how we drum up leads, how we purchase properties on the acquisition side. So we want to make sure that we continue to grow those relationships. And even in a changing market, we like to know what our competitors are doing. And so we reach out, we build those relationships, we have lunch, we go to networking groups here locally to make sure that we're still in line with what's going on and that we're still keeping those relationships and continuing to buy from people that have provided us deals and leads for a very long time.
So I would have thought that the metric that she would have brought up would be something like bids put out or something like that, but it makes a lot of sense, this whole network thing. Can you tell me why she's so focused on the networking and the local knowledge?
I can, but let's, we kind of preface this by what you would think a normal experience would be if you're thinking about buying a rental property. Before we go into the networking component, let's talk about the fact that it's not normal to have an operation be vertically integrated that actually buys the assets before they sell it to you. Most companies, even what people call turnkey companies, simply just represent somebody else's property and put a fancy spreadsheet together and then sell it to you and basically are an overpriced middleman. Mm-hmm. So the fact that actually JWB and Cassandra and the acquisitions team buy thousands of properties so that it's actually owned by JWB, so we can put our own money into it, so that we can clean up whatever messes there may be in that issue, in that property, and then create a wonderful cash flow positive asset for you, is not normal. Yeah, it's not normal, but it's incredibly important if you want this to be a wonderful passive experience.
That makes sense. And that what comes to mind there is vertical integration, right? Mm-hmm. Like the fact that you have acquisitions in-house is kind of like the beginning of vertical integration. You're not going to blame somebody else for the acquisition side of it once you're managing this thing long term. And then I think the back end of vertical integration is something you talk about all the time. You don't go to other cities because you pride yourself in local knowledge. 100%. And that to me feels like KJ just in one statement wrapped up the whole value prop of vertical integration. It's we're the ones acquiring your property and we are the ones with all the local expertise. And that is a giant competitive advantage that nobody will ever have over JWB in Jacksonville for sure.
100%. The reason that we focus in one place is because at the end of the day, this is going to create a better investment for you. We're absolutely convinced of that. And you see it in all of these different departments that we're going to talk about. And for KJ here in acquisitions, it's very clear. Everybody in Jacksonville real estate knows Cassandra and by default knows JWB. And so we have been buying hundreds of properties a year when the market was on fire. We have been buying hundreds of properties a year when the market wasn't on fire. And when KJ says we're going to close on something, we close on something. And so that's why networking and our reputation is a benefit to you, because we're able to acquire properties at the right price so that we can make a profit, but then it works for your numbers at the end of the day. So it's cash flow positive and poised for growth over all 5 profit centers.
There you go.